What's happening is that representatives from each country around the world are gathered, and they literally have the text in a Word document that's up on the screen, and they are collectively wordsmithing this Word document upon which all of our survival is based on. It is a nightmare.
On paper, everything you want is in this process. So for me, it's not the process which is the problem. The problem, of course, is about political power. And if you think, I think this is where some elements of our movement make a mistake, because what they rage against is the process, where they should be raging about and recognising, first of all, we're not strong enough. You know, we're not strong enough. Even like the big climate marches of this weekend. 50,000 people in London. I'm sorry, I haven't been with the anti-war movement. We put 1-2 million people on the streets in London. We put millions around the world. We had 750,000 for the climate. This is the big climate moment. We have to recognise that actually the power and the pressure we're putting on governments isn't sufficient.
We talk about getting a good treaty out of a conference where all the tools for a good treaty were taken from us, slowly but steadily over the last 30 years. Those were all tools we had before the advent of the World Trade Organization, before the round of globalization occurred once the Iron Curtain fell, before NAFTA, before Chapter 11, before the rise of investor-state dispute resolutions. They have taken away from us our right to negotiate a treaty that works.
This building's here, not debating climate, they're not debating environment. What they're debating is political economy. Whose economy will survive, and who will die and who will live in this new world.
Many countries have different perspectives, but we understand that some countries have constraints. So as part of the agreement, every country at the table is going to be required to provide a target.
The world states are in that room right now, deciding on my children's future.
The IPCC has told us that if we don't hold warming below 1.5 degrees, that means massive devastation for most vulnerable countries, most of whom could have contributed to the least to climate change. It's unjust, and it means devastation and the loss of lives.
We know the Titanic's hitting the iceberg, and that's why we're all on the Titanic. The question is the majority of the world's population are in the third class, they're in the bottom of the boat. They're going to sink first, whilst the rich are still on the upper deck with the orchestras playing, eating salmon canapes, right? So it's a real political fight. There are real positive outcomes we still got to have, even when we know it's an inadequate deal, an inadequate agreement. Some people say it's about shuffling deck chairs. Yes, it is about shuffling deck chairs, but when your deck chair is drowning first, you would mind it being shuffled a little bit higher, and that's what, for a lot of poorer countries, that's the real question here in the negotiation.